What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Split Decisions podcast. I'm Patrick,
And I'm Justin.
and we're here to break down UFC 308, Topuria versus Max Holloway, taking place in Abu Dhabi.
Fight Island.
Man, banger card too.
They always load these Abu Dhabi cards up with just the most talent they can just to appease the Saudis and the prince over there.
Finally back after a little layoff. But definitely excited to get back to breaking down these fights for y'all. And definitely excited to see a pay-per-view. We are going to get into that first fight. Go ahead,
Let's
Justin.
go. So the first fight of the night, we're opening it up with Bruno Silva versus Ismail Nardiev. This guy is taking this fight really on really short notice. He was supposed to be booked in the UAE Warriors to fight, I think, October 22nd or something. UFC called, said, yo, you want to fight? He said, fuck y'all, I'm out. And now he's here. So he's taking on Bruno Silva, who is 4-5 in the UFC. Bruno Silva is a striker with good power in his punches and kicks. He has a little bit of a submission game, but he's not out here looking for takedowns unless he absolutely has to. He's on a 3-fight losing streak right now, but they've all been incredible competition, except the Weidman loss, where he was just getting eye poked the whole time, and Weidman eye poked his way to a victory. But Bruno Silva's tough. He gave Alex Pereira a super tough fight. He gave Shara Magomedov, who fights later on in this card, a really tough fight too. Took him, pretty sure it was all three. Ismail is 2-2. He's fought in the UFC before. This is his return fight back to the UFC. His last fight he fought Sean Brady back in 2020 and lost a decision fight to Sean Brady. He's also a striker with heavy kicks, big explosive punches. He likes to start fast, constantly putting pressure and volume on his opponents. He hasn't fought in almost a year, winning his last fight back in Brave back in December 2023. Before that, he lost 2 fights in a row in the first round, just starting off fast. This fight really feels just like a filler fight to me, just to add another fight to the card in case they lost the fight, whatever. It's a high likelihood that somebody gets finished here. My pick is going to be Bruno just because he's been fighting the better competition and has been more active. He fought a tough 15-minute fight with Alex Pereira where he wasn't looking to take him down. He was just striking with him. Probably not smart, but he did. So I think he's going to be good here. Give me Bruno Silva, probably by decision, but I could see him sneaking a sub somewhere in there if this guy just gets desperate and tired and shoots for something. So what are you thinking?
Yeah, definitely a hard fight to have a crazy strong take on. But I am going to be on the same side. Just off the UFC experience, Bruno Silva is on a little skid, but besides that Chris Weidman fight has been the decent competition. I mean, Brendan Allen is top of the division guy. Shara Magomedov, who fights on his card and has a lot of upside. I think 29-28 with Alex Pereira. I do think he won a round in that fight.
Yeah, he was. I think it was the first round maybe that he won or something like that, first or second round, but he did.
And then choked out late by GM3, which
Gerald Mearshart. That's just Mearshart things right
that's
there.
That's GM3 for you.
Yeah.
And Ismail Nardiev, not super impressed, honestly, and I'm not really too sure why he's getting another chance in the UFC, to be honest, considering he's been like alternating wins and losses since getting cut in 2020. So I'll pick Bruno Silva just simply off of the UFC experience, and let's say he gets back in the win column.
I think so too. So the next fight is Ibo Aslan.
Yeah, we got Ibo Aslan sitting at -122 on the money line against Raffael C. He is the number 1 heavyweight out of Brazil right now.
Yeah.
So also trains with Gelton Almeida.
Oh, see, I didn't
know
that.
decent, at least a decent grappling sparring partner for him. Aslan coming off the Contender Series, did debut against Pleasure Man. Wasn't super impressed with him in his debut. No. A lot of winging, heavy shots. Definitely has heavy hands.
Big power.
Big power in them hands, but not super technical. These just 2 big guys that's gonna come out and throw heavy to start this fight out. Do see a knockout probably coming either way. Um, but I'm gonna slightly lean towards the heavyweight coming down, the light heavyweight, Raffael C. He has shown that he can get it done multiple ways. He has 8 KOs, 2 submission wins as well, and also has been all three and won a decision. So probably see him being a more all around, well rounded fighter. Um, and yeah, I'll give him a shot as in his debut to get this W, and I'll call a first round KO. What
Yeah,
you think?
that's not a bad read. He is the whole heavyweight, him coming down. He was the number one heavyweight in Brazil, but he's taking this. It's going to be interesting to see what he looks like during this weight cut process because I'm not sure what he used to weigh in at heavyweight, but he is 34, almost 35 years old, so he's been around. He has experience. I didn't know he trains with Charlton Almeida.
Yeah,
Ibo is 13-1. He is, like Pat said, 1-1 or 1-0 in the UFC. He got his contract after getting a knockout 2 minutes and 22 seconds into the Contender Series. Made his debut against the Pleasure Man, got his revenge because that was his only loss on his record. Like Pat said, he does have big power in his hands, big powerful leg kicks. He doesn't move his head much and can be low output though because he's always just looking for that like big shot. Like he just wants that big knockout. Um, but like Pat said, Rafael is number one in Brazil at heavyweight. He was booked to fight 3 different people on the Contender Series all last month. Every single one of them pulled out, whether it be from injury, sickness, whatever. So I guess Dana and the UFC just said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna throw him in here, let him make his debut if nobody wants to fight him on the Contender Series." Like Pat said, he does have 8 knockouts and 2 subs, so he is a finisher. I don't have much input on this fight because they're both still pretty fresh on the scene. I expect nothing short of violence though, and just nonstop action for as long as it lasts. I'm going to be on the other side. I'm going to go with Ibo Aslan here, but I won't be betting it. I might, obviously bet the fight doesn't go the distance if it's not a crazy line, which it probably will
yeah,
be,
it'll
or
probably be
that
juiced.
under 1.5 probably. But I'm going to be on the other side, and we'll make this our first split decision on the card. Give me Ibo by I'm gonna say KO, but it wouldn't surprise me if both these guys just slug it out and you know have a sloppy decision or something. So third fight on the card, we got Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. Rinat Fakhretdinov is 4-0-1 in the UFC. He's a flashy striker with sneaky big power. He has some respectable wins in the UFC over people like Brian Battle and Nicholas Dalby, who are both tough fights for anyone. He even has good grappling that we don't see him use much. His cardio is his main issue, showing showing that he falls off a cliff after about 7 or 8 minutes. He kind of his output falls down. He's kind of more able to be hit. He's fighting Carlos Leal, who is 21-5, making his UFC debut here. He's a massive guy for 170 with big power. Um, oh no, I was wrong. The last fight. This is the guy that was actually supposed to fight UAE and got the call in 4 days. Um, he was fighting for the LFA where he was a knockout machine for the most part, but this is going to be a huge step up on short notice for this guy. As far as the pick goes, I think it's Rinat all the way. But he needs to be careful. Carlos isn't someone you want to eat a punch from. Danger levels are high, so it wouldn't surprise me to see Rinat working some grappling. He has been taking grappling matches on the side. I mean, he grappled Craig Jones for God's sakes, and Craig Jones is a fucking monster. But give me Rinat. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say Rinat by submission because I could see these guys just kind of throwing hands and somehow coming together, and Rinat has to take him down because that power is big or something. But give me Rinat by submission or decision. What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty easy pick for me. I mean, we got Carlos Leal coming in short notice, pretty much just to save the fight,
Yeah,
honestly, and probably just to get his shot in the UFC. Has fought some decent PFL competition, but man, it's levels from the PFL to the UFC. Renat undefeated in the UFC. Like you said, has faced some really good competition in Brian battle. Did get tested a little bit against Dalby. I do believe that was a split decision
Yeah,
win. So super close fight, but Dalby will test a lot of people just by being a durable,
dog.
just hard to deal with, hard to hold down. And that's what Rinat wants to do, is just kind of take you down and impose his will on that grappling. I do see him doing that in this fight and winning a decision. I don't see him getting a sub. Majority of Leal's losses are by decision. He's only been sub one time. So definitely a durable, can last type of guy. But yeah, give me Renat, probably 30-27 decision, just domination in the grappling department. And then with our fourth fight of the night. Oh yeah, by the way, if you haven't, please go hit that like button, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button as well. We've been a little bit inactive lately. We're trying to get these videos back in that algorithm,
Getting
man.
back in the groove.
Yeah, get back in the groove of things. So we'd appreciate that a lot if y'all can do that. Um, yeah, fourth fight of the night, we got Farrid Basharat, one out of two Basharat brothers, fighting Victor Hugo. Farrid, huge favorite in this fight, minus 500. Um, is undefeated in the UFC against some pretty decent, good, solid competition. Well-rounded fighter, can mix in takedowns well, decent striking on the feet. I wouldn't call him super like powerful,
No,
but just kind of like good,
got that
rangy.
volume.
Yeah, rangy would put volume in your face. Um, he has more UFC experience, but Victor Hugo has a lot of MMA
Yeah,
experience. I think like over 30 fights,
yeah,
25 fights.
25 and
Definitely
4.
not a scrub. Was controlled decent amount in his debut, which he still got the win, but hung out on the cage a lot. I could see Farrid probably implement some grappling here,
Yeah.
mixing it up. I do think that's probably his more would be a better route for him to take, because Victor Hugo does throw heavy,
Hmm.
powerful shots on the feet. And is just a well-rounded fighter. Does have 8 career subs, so dangerous on the ground as well. But I just see Fareed getting some top time, probably riding it out, being safe, um, or potentially just pointing him up on the feet. But Victor Hugo at plus 380, that's probably the value betting wise. I'm gonna just keep it real, man. I'm not laying minus 500 on Fareed Basharat
That's crazy.
to win. If I do, I'll look at a prop or something. My pick is gonna be Fareed Basharat, and I'll say he wins the decision. What you think?
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. Because I agree with pretty much everything Pat said. Farid is super well rounded, fast hands. He has a decent grappling game. He's not going to be super dominant with it, but he knows how to use it and implement it well. He's constantly moving through positions on the ground when he does get people on the ground. He trains at Extreme Couture with some really good coaches and training partners, so he's always going to be well prepared. He's just a grinder with good cardio, and he can be somewhat low output on the feet, but it just depends on the moment. Like once he starts to go, it's fine, but he does catch himself sometimes like taking pictures and just like waiting to go. Whereas Victor, like Pat said, very experienced overall. He's got 29 fights professionally in MMA. He's 1-0 in the UFC. He got his contract from the Contender Series with a second round knee bar, then won his debut by decision. He has 8 knockouts, 9 submissions, 8 decision wins. So he's really well rounded too. He's showed to have somewhat good takedown defense, but he can be taken down. Experience wise, Hugo is miles ahead and has more knockouts than Farrid, so it's clear that he has the power in his hands. But he has been finished before and has shown questionable fight IQ. I think Farrid is more adapted to fighting high level competition and will be more composed here and has the more kind of like mentality of what he needs to do. So for that, I'm gonna take Farrid in this fight, probably by decision. It wouldn't surprise me if he kind of sneaks a submission somewhere in there, but like Pat said, betting wise, you're getting no value at minus 500. So it's either look for a prop that you like in Farrid as far as like whether it be points or submission, something like that, or take that stab at the underdog at plus 380 because it's might be worth a sprinkle there because Victor is dangerous. But what I noticed before we go into this next fight, first 4 fights all have a Brazilian in it. Like, I don't know why, just boom, Bruno, the Rafael, Carlos, and now this Victor guy. It's just a little tidbit. Fifth fight on the card, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. Kennedy 6-5 in the UFC. He's a big, powerful striker with a long ass reach. He's very low output and timid in the beginning of a fight because he's trying to find his range. His last time out, he lost to OSP, who's a fucking senior citizen at this point. Let's be real. We just saw what Ryan Spann did to him in the first round, and that's Ryan fucking Spann, right? But here we are. Kennedy went all 3 with him, looked good in the first, then completely fell off a cliff cardio-wise and let OSP piece him up for the rest of the fight. He can be chinned, and his gas tank is suspect, which is a nightmare combo for anybody that's wanting to put him in a bet or, wanting to bet him or put him in a parlay, something like that. He's fighting the always entertaining Chris Barnett, who's 2-2 in the UFC. He's a Taekwondo black belt, but you never guess it by looking at him. You look at him, you're like, this dude's not a fighter. There's no way. He doesn't have one-shot KO power, but does have good timing and surprisingly fast and accurate spinning kicks, which is a shocker, honestly. His cardio is trash too, though, and part of that is probably, because he's so large. He's one of, if not the only fighter to ever miss weight at heavyweight in the UFC, and the heavyweight limit is 266 pounds. So
that's wild,
crazy. His 2 wins were both against cans, and his 2 losses were against fighters who had a good wrestling ability, which Kennedy doesn't really use. Picking this fight is easy, but it's probably the fight that I'm least confident in the pick. I think Kennedy wins, barring some wild, crazy spinning kick that he gets caught with, because Chris Barnett does like to throw shit. I think Kennedy is just more technical. He's longer. He's obviously stronger. He's probably more athletic too. I think Kennedy can work behind a good jab and then either find that shot or just pick Chris apart with jabs until, either the end of the fight or whatever happens. So give me Kennedy by knockout or sloppy ass decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the Kennedy Nzechukwu side as well. 8-inch reach advantage. He's gonna be 8-inch taller. I mean, huge size advantage. Coming up in weight, so doesn't have to deal with that, that weight cut down to 205. 6 years younger than Chris Barnett, so has the youth advantage. Yeah, man, I think it's pretty easy fight to pick for real. But as far as betting, I'm not laying no minus 600, minus 550 on Kennedy Nzechukwu. If anything, I'll take a dog shot on Barnett. Barnett, he has weathered the storm. He weathered the storm pretty well against Collier. And came back and won that fight. But Collier fell off a cliff and just completely died. Just another fat fucking heavyweight.
Jay Collier started his career at middleweight, ended at heavyweight. Like, it's insane if you look at his before and after pictures.
Beat the fuck out of Chris Barnett in that first round. Had his eye all fucked up.
Yeah, he pieced him up.
And ended up coming back out in that first round, mounted him, got that mount TKO on his ass. So, I mean, he could weather the storm. He tough, but ultimately, I see Kennedy probably pointing his way to a decision, if not getting a knockout in this fight. So, give me Kennedy and Nzechukwu, and I'll say by knockout. All right. And we got the 6th fight of the night. Let me find my notes since they like to change shit up. We got Abus Magomedov against Bruno Ferreira. Abus Magomedov sitting at minus 150 favorite. He's 2-2 in UFC against Bruno Ferreira, who is 3-1 in the UFC. Bruno Ferreira, super compact, powerful striking, Brazilian. Will walk forward. He'll apply pressure. He did in his. I don't know if it wasn't his last fight, but the fight before that, he got flatlined by Nursultan Ruzaboyev, which I don't know if that was kind of like fluky or
he was gassed.
And he did. He threw a kick. And dude kind of caught the kick and followed it up with the right hand.
I'm thinking of something else. I think
so. It's kind of like it's hard to tell if he's got chin issues or if it was just kind of like I said, maybe just the the perfect instant. But good guard game as well. If you take him down, he will kind of throw up subs off his back. Um, Struggled a little bit closing the distance against Dustin Stoltzfus
Yeah.
to start his last fight. Did ultimately end up finding the KO late in that first round, but to start that fight out was just kind of struggling finding his shots. And against somebody like Abus, who's gonna have a 6-inch reach advantage in this fight. He's gonna be 4 inches taller. Um, may cause issues for him.
Yeah.
As far as finding that range. Abus has two losses in the UFC, but I mean that's former champion Sean Strickland and probably future champion Cal Barajo.
Yeah.
So two top of the division guys.
2 good losses.
Super will gas if you press a pace on them. So I think this fight's kind of can go two separate ways. Either Bruno's gonna press a pace and he's gonna break Abus late, or Abus is gonna stay at range and just be the better technical striker. I'm gonna lean Abus Magomedov in this fight. I think he just gets a decision win over Ferreira because I do think Ferreira is durable. I think that knockout by Rosaboy was just kind of like a fluky knockout. I do think he's durable and has a chin. So I'll go Magomedov by decision. What you think?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with mostly everything that Pat said. This matchup it's kind of one or two ways type of thing. Abus is a striker. He's a really clean kickboxer with solid power and a little bit of a wrestling game. Like Pat said, his 2 losses were to Sean Strickland and Cal Barallo, which both are championship level, like pedigree fighters. Um, his cardio has been dog shit in the past, gassing after a round, but he showed in his last time out that he's working on it. He beat Worley Alves by decision, where he kind of kept the same steady pace all 3 rounds. Bruno, 3-1 in the UFC. He's also a striker, but it's more of a Muay Thai style striker. He's got big power in his hands, and he showed that when he starts RoboCop with just a little check left hook. I think it was his UFC debut, or
As a
if not,
big underdog
yeah,
too,
yeah.
plus 300.
Um, he did get caught by Rusibov in his second UFC fight, and then he bounced back with 2 more first round finishes. With 3 wins by submission, he's shown he's not just lost on the ground either. If it goes there, he knows how to scramble. He can hold his own. Picking this is tough for me because Abus is going to be 4 inches taller with a 6-inch reach advantage. He uses his kicks to keep range too, like blasting teep kicks up the middle and leg kicks and all that. But I'm slightly leaning Bruno on this just because the power and, like Pat said, the pace that he can push. I feel like he can set a pace on Abus and eventually break him, like we saw kind of Sean Strickland do. Sean Strickland survived the first, where Abus is really dangerous with big power, and then just put that pressure on him to where he finally broke him in the second and got that TKO. And I feel like that's what Bruno can do here. So give us another split decision on the board. Give me Bruno by, I'm going to say knockout. But if Abus could last in that second round, then I could see a decision for Bruno. So on to the next fight. We got Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Daniel Santos. I think this is going to be a banger of a fight. Saeed is 7-2 in the UFC. By his last name, you would think that he's a wrestler and related to Khabib, but he's not. He's just from Dagestan, and he likes to strike. He does have wrestling, obviously, and a slick submission game, but he loves striking. He loves to throw good kicks to keep range and has a fast 1-2 that follows behind it. When you try to shoot a takedown on him to close that distance, he grabs your neck, and it's a wrap. His guillotine is one of the fastest and quickest that I've ever seen him latch up. When he latches it, it's sunk in, like you're done. Daniel Santos is 2-1 in the UFC. He's a wild striker from the favelas of Brazil. He's literally just a mini Charles Oliveira, which happens to be one of his training partners. He's all action, constantly coming forward. He has good power in his hands, and he has a very slick submission game too. He's also pretty tough, never being finished in his career. And he's shown to have a chin too, because he's ate some big shots in the UFC and just kept coming forward. This fight is another one that's tough for me to pick. I really like Santos and his fighting style and would love to see him get this W. But I think the home field advantage for Saeed is going to help him here. It's going to really just have him, feeling himself when he's coming in. And he's just so well rounded. Like everywhere the fight could go, he could be good at. So my pick is going to be Nurmagomedov, but it's probably another one that I won't play the money line on. Might try to look for some props, but because I think Santos is dangerous, but give me Saeed Nurmagomedov probably by decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same side, man. This is just a big step up in competition for Santos
Yeah,
compared to what he's used to.
right.
Coming off a win against Johnny Munoz and John Castaneda. I mean, you losing to Julio Arce,
Yeah.
and I mean, come on, bro. Definitely explosive on the feet. I think he's probably the more dangerous striker as far as like finding that big like knockout
Oh
blow.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's gonna come forward, he's gonna throw heavy, but I mean, almost said Khabib. Saeed's just gonna be better overall as far
yeah,
as technically. He's gonna have better defense on the feet as Daniel Santos absorbs 3 more significant strikes per minute. So the stats even back that up. We got a 3-inch reach advantage on the Saeed Nurmagomedov side. Like you said, dangerous subs. If Daniel Santos does want to close the distance and get some grappling going, I think he's going to put himself in danger there.
yeah.
Will apply pressure with that shoot box style. Um, but overall, I just think Saeed's going to be too much for him. And on the feet, just going to be more technical and probably point his ass up or, potentially find, a finish. But yeah, pretty easy pick for me. I think should be an easy win for Saeed.
Speaking of Khabib, do you remember the meme in the video that was going around when he was cornering Saeed in that Julio Arce fight, where he was like slamming the fucking
You
the
mean
side of the octagon?
wait,
Because he was.
Saeed fought Julio?
Is that who I? No, no, no. I didn't mean that. Who was I talking about? Yeah. I didn't mean Julio. I meant whoever Saeed was fighting. Habib was cornering him in one of his losses. I forget what it was, but
Was
there
it
was.
Martinez or Ronnie Barcelos?
I think it was the Barcelos one. The Barcelos fight. He had Habib in his corner for whatever reason. I think he was training with him, and Habib was going
Going nuts.
insane, fucking smacking the side. I was like, "No, you got to go, come on, dude. Going crazy, dude." It just reminded me whenever you had said Khabib's name. I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, but overall, it's probably gonna be a fun fight though.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So the next fight,
We got
Myktybek O.
Myktybek Orabai 2-0 in the UFC against Mateusz Rebecki. Orabai sitting at minus 290 favorite, which is kind of an insane line because Mateusz Rebecki is super dangerous early.
Tough.
You might even be able to find a better price on Orabai live.
Yeah.
Mateusz could definitely come out and win that first round, just land some big stuff on the feet. He's physical. He walks forward, applies pressure, throws just heavy winging left hooks. Just he's trying to take your head off every strike he throws. Does have good timing on takedowns as well, which I don't really see him implementing any grappling here because I do think Orabai is going to be the
Oh yeah.
better grappler, better wrestler. But he can mix it up. Just Rebecca just has cardio issues. He's gonna come out strong in the first round and probably fall off a cliff afterwards, unless he comes out and paces himself. But overall, I think Orabai is just gonna be the better, like I said, the better wrestler. He's relentless. His striking's okay, but I feel like he could set up his takedowns a little bit better. He'll eat some shots
Yeah.
to get in and close distance and get that grappling going. His cardio was tested against Brenner, which I thought he looked decent later against Brenner. So
Right.
I definitely think he's going to be the better. He's going to have more cardio in this fight, probably the better wrestling. So yeah, I'm a lean Orabai. Don't love minus 300 on him, but I do think he should win this fight. What do you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Myktybek looks like, if you look in the dictionary at the like definition of a Neanderthal, like the old Neanderthal people, Myktybek literally looks just like that. And I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just pointing out the obvious here. But Myktybek is 2-0 in the UFC with 6 wins by knockouts, 5 by sub, and 2 by decision. he is very well rounded. He's the grinder type who just wants to wear you down and drag you into deep waters to find the finish. His cardio seems all right, but it's a little questionable. Especially into the third round, you can tell like he starts to, get a little tired. Which everyone, that's understandable. But he does train at Team Alpha Male, so he's getting a lot of good looks, training partner wise, and just experience wise from his coaches. Like Pat said, Mateusz has big power. He's 3-1 in the UFC. Um, he's got big punches, good hard kicks. He seems to have a good chin on him while he's fresh, but where he does have, a little bit of cardio problems, especially later on in the fight, that's where that chin can be cracked. Um, his only 2 losses in his entire career had both came whenever he was gassed and just couldn't defend himself anymore, and they ended up getting the finish. Picking this is going to be, kind of tough because this fight is going to be fireworks for as long as it lasts. I think Rebecca definitely has the more power in his hands, where Oraba is the more well-rounded fighter with like the better wrestling, better grappling. So I think if Oraba can survive a tough first round, he's going to find a finish in the second or third. But there is danger in that first round. But my pick, give me Myktybek Oraba by submission.
And just to add to that as well, I mean, Vegas seen this more of like a pick 'em, like a type fight. Orabal did open -130 on DraftKings and was quickly
Bet up,
bet to
yeah,
like -270 where you're getting them at now. So I mean,
right.
as far as that value goes, it's
Vegas,
probably on Rebecca.
yeah, the Vegas definitely respected the danger in Rebecca, especially early in that fight.
And we've seen Orabal take some shots early in fights.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't, especially with somebody from like Rebecca too. It's like you don't want to take those shots
Mm-mm.
because you take a clean shot from Rebecca, and next thing you know, you got the doc standing over you asking you for all
Facts.
right. So the next fight on the card, we got Geoff Neal versus RDA. This happens to be the feature prelim of the card. Geoff Neal is 7-4 in the UFC. He's a powerful boxer with fast hands and good takedown defense. He's been a staple in the top 15 of welterweight for the last 6 years. He's fought everyone from Mike Perry and Bilal Muhammad to Shavkat and Ian Gary, like the new age of fighters. He can be low output though, most times just waiting on those counter shots to come. But his counters and his striking, very good. He's fighting RDA, who is 21-14 in the UFC. Listen to that, 21-14. That's what, 35 fights? 35 fights just in the UFC. Crazy. He at one point was the 155-pound champ. He's pretty much fought everyone too with a name at 155 and 170. He's a dominant wrestler who has added a good mix of striking over the years. His hands are fast, but the power is lacking. He is tiny for 170 though, and his only win at welterweight since 2017 was against we were just talking about him earlier.
Fat boy.
Yeah,
Brian Barberina.
Brian Barberina. Yeah, I don't know why. I even have it on my notes and just blanked out. But yeah, against Brian Barberina was his only win at welterweight since 2017. So for me, this fight is easy to pick. I think Geoff Neal is going to be too big for him. I think Geoff Neal's takedown defense is good enough to keep this fight on the feet. RDA does have a chin. He's old. I think he's like 39 now or something like that. He's 40, so he's getting up there. But I think Geoff Neal has big power. I think Geoff Neal might even be able to catch him on the chin. So give me Geoff Neal by TKO or more than likely a decision. What do you think?
Yeah, I like Geoff Neal by decision in this fight, man. Just 5-inch reach advantage. He's gonna obviously be the better, more crisp striker.
Yeah, he's the
in this
actual
fight.
welterweight in this fight.
Yeah, which welterweight is more of RDA's natural weight, though.
Yeah, I mean walk around weight. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But if we're
So
talking the size of these fighters now and all that,
yeah.
he's a lightweight.
Definitely has fought the who's who at lightweight and welterweight.
Yeah.
I mean he is gonna have a grappling edge in this fight, but like you said, Geoff Neal's takedown defense should be able to hold up here. 87% takedown defense.
Yeah.
So not super easy to take down.
See, I didn't know the numbers, but that's high.
Yeah, that's
I knew
high.
it was good, but that's real good.
So I do. If Geoff Neal keeps it on the feet, I think he wins easy. I do see a path for RDA, just maybe some cage pushing. Like not being able to get the takedown, but just controlling along the fence.
Right.
But
trying to stall.
yeah, just trying to stall on some Mario
Yeah.
Batista type shit. But
Fuck God.
ultimately,
Fuck that guy, man.
ultimately, I'm gonna go Geoff Neal. I don't think RDA is pretty durable, so I just see him winning probably a clean decision.
Oh, that just ruined my day all over. Mario Batista, eat a dick, buddy. Eat a whole dick.
Which I do think he won that fight, but
Yeah,
it was boring. Obviously, that third round was super boring, but nobody liked to see that shit at all. All right, and in the
Main
10th
card.
fight, it's the main card. Please make sure to go like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel, man. We're trying to get these subs up. We're trying to get these likes up, this engagement up, and
trying to hit that algorithm.
spread the word, man. Go tell your friend. Go watch Split Decisions podcast.
Right.
Yeah, we got Shara Magomedov, and here I'm gonna let y'all know right now. Here comes another split decision for the card.
He already knows it.
We got Shara Magomedov, his boy, 3-0 in the UFC, 14-0 undefeated in MMA.
The Pirate.
Against Armen Petrosian, sitting at plus 148. Dog, 3-2 in the UFC. Shara, man, we already know he's a super elite kickboxer.
Yeah.
He's gonna be super hard to deal with at that kicking range, which he likes to be.
Big power.
Likes to throw those kicks. Likes to keep you right outside distance where he can touch you and you can't touch him. Sometimes does get too comfortable on that cage, man. He'll back up to that cage and just sit there and just play around too damn much.
That's the one thing being a Shara fan that I would fucking hate is how comfortable he is with just waiting against the fence, because you know the first good wrestler, they're going to maul him with that. They're going to be like, okay, cool, thank you.
I definitely see him. He can be taken down, and that comes to my next point. Like, first real wrestler, like, you know, just relentless wrestler he faces is gonna expose him.
A Fluffy would maul him.
I would hate to see him
with
fight
a Bo Nickel. Like,
they completely expose him. Armen Petrosian, he's a kickboxer.
Yeah,
he prefers to strike, but he will mix it up.
He can.
So in this fight, I feel like he can mix it up. If he comes in here with a game plan and says, I'm just gonna try to out kickbox Shara, he probably has. I'm not saying he can't hold his own,
right,
but he's gonna make it a lot harder for himself.
Yeah.
If he comes in here, he mixes it up, he pushes against the cage, kind of like he did in that Christian Leroy Duncan fight.
Yeah.
He mixed in some grappling, won rounds that way. I can see him getting this win. So it all depends on what kind of game plan he wants to come in here with. But I'm gonna trust him. I think he's a good, solid, all-around fighter. He's fought some decent competition in the UFC, and yeah, I'm gonna stick my neck out, and I'm gonna take a dog shot here, and I'm gonna pick Armen Petrosian to win, probably by decision. Yeah. I know you on the opposite side, so I'm not gonna ask you what you think, but tell them what you think.
We are, we're definitely on the opposite sides, but I'm 100% agree with what Pat said, because me being a Shara fan, I'm still realistic in the aspect of, like, I know this man's takedown defense is terrible, and I know the first decent wrestler is going to just have a field day with the hype that he's going to get from beating Shara, you know. But like Pat said, Shara is 3-0 in the UFC. He's a powerful striker, big ass powerful kicks. And when I think about it, there's really no other fighter that throws more kicks than they do punches like Shara does.
Yeah.
Jonathan Martinez has really good kicks and throws a lot, but it's almost like Shara doesn't throw his hands much at all. He's mostly just throwing kicks the whole fucking fight. So, but you know, he is strong with semi-decent takedown defense, but once you get him down, he can't get up. He's just on his back, flat, doesn't know how. He's trying to throw elbows and shit like that from the bottom, but it's like
he will attack from
that. Doesn't look good for the judges when you have 5 minutes of control time, you know, or they have 5 minutes of control time on you.
Right.
Like Pat said, Armen 3-2 in the UFC. He's 8-3 overall. He is a fast, powerful kickboxer. Has really good hard kicks. He has good wins over people like Christian Leroy Duncan and RoboCop. His losses are to credible fighters too, Cabarallo and Rodolfo Vieiro. His cardio seems pretty decent, but he does slow his output later into the fights. But I mean, that's normal for everybody, really. But like Pat said, I'm obviously riding with my dog Shara here. You know, Armen stands heavy on his lead leg, and I feel like Shara is going to eat that up. He also leaves his body to be kicked, or he leaves it open sometimes, so those body kicks will be there. It's not going to be easy for Shara, and I could very well see a 29-28 type decision because I don't think he's going to be able to get Armen out of there with a TKO. But I do think it is possible for him to get like a body kick TKO if he does get a finish. But my pick, give me Shara by decision. So on to the next fight. We got Magomed Ankalaev and Alexander Rakic. And this fight is really, it's big for a lot of reasons, but this is Magomed Ankalaev's real test to show like he deserves to fight Alex next. He tried to strong arm a title fight on this card and tried to say he wants to fight Alex here. UFC wasn't having it. They said, all right, bet. Here's Alexander Rakic. So Magomed is 10-1 in the UFC. He's a big, powerful Russian kickboxer with, a decent wrestling game too. He has 10 knockouts and 8 decision wins, but only 1 sub win. He uses his wrestling when he's starting to lose the striking exchanges. So when he does use it, it's mostly to lay on top and regain control of the fight and kind of rack up control time, get a little ground and pound in there, stuff like that. He stands heavy in his stance, which leaves his lead leg to be ate up, just like we saw Jan Blachowicz do to him. He had him damn near almost had him out of there from leg kicks alone. That's when we seen, him go to his wrestling and take Jan down and hold on to him. Alexander Rakic, 6-3 in the UFC. He also comes from a kickboxing background. He's got fast hands with even better kicks. He really works behind a good jab and heavy leg kicks. Out of his 3 losses, really only one of them was a true loss, in my opinion, which was his last fight to Yuri. His first loss was a split decision that I thought he won that fight. Going back and watching it, it was very close. His second loss was that freak knee injury to Jan, where he was winning the fight, in my opinion. Before that, he was kind of getting to Jan and was fucking Jan's leg up too, and then just blew his knee out.
I had a bet on Rakic in that fight.
Yeah, that's sad. He doesn't wrestle much either, but he does have a decent ground game if it goes there. He's not lost. He's not somebody like Shara who just lays on his back. This fight's a coin flip, honestly, in my opinion, because they both have similar styles. I just think Magomed has more power behind his hands and a more solid wrestling game. But I think Rakic has better kicks. And like I said, where Magomed has more power in his punches. I can see a world where Magomed chins Rakic, and I could see another world where it's a 3-round just point fight pretty much. But my pick, give me Magomed Ankalaev by decision. But I could see I wouldn't be surprised by a knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I like Ankalaev in this fight. Probably just gonna be the more well-rounded fighter. Like you said, he'll get the wrestling going if he needs to.
Yeah.
But Rakic, I mean, dangerous in that first round,
He's
man.
not a scrub.
He's definitely not a scrub. He got that Muay Thai style, super explosive early. He's gonna attack the legs, which, like you said, might be Ankalaev's kryptonite.
Yeah. He had Yuri's leg tore up in that first round in his last fight. He was really putting it on Yuri in that first.
And it's like, did he just blow himself out in that fight, or you think he got cardio issues? Or you think it was just the pressure of Yuri that kind of broke him?
I think it was just a mix of both. Like UFC 300, was it 300 that he fought? I think it was 300 where he fought him. But it was like the spotlight of UFC 300, and then Yuri's coming at him all crazy, like a wild style.
Because I have him in my notes, cardio issues, ? I don't know if he really has,
I mean, he slows down for sure because he's so explosive in that first, but I don't know if it's
I just don't know if Ankalaev is going to press that type of pace either.
Right. So, well, he does. I mean, against Johnny Walker, anyways, he had somewhat a good pace, but it's more so is that Johnny Walker just going crazy and Ankalaev looks good because of it? You know?
Yeah, I definitely see Ankalaev winning. As far as a finish or not, I think that's going to depend on Rakic, whether he can withstand some of the strikes that Ankalaev puts on him, or if Ankalaev decides to just say, all right, fuck this shit, I'm not trying to strike with this dude. I'll just take the easy route. I'll get some top time on him. So yeah, I'll go with Ankalaev. I'll say decision. Actually, no, I'm gonna say KO, or I'm gonna say a finish, because I feel like he's gonna want to finish here. Yeah. Because if he's wanting that title fight, he can't go out here and win no boring decision.
No,
he needs a finish. So you want that Pereira fight next, man, you better come out here and
Well, that's the thing with him though, too. He's one of the ones that says like, I'm not wrestling Alex Pierre. When I fight him, I'm going to knock him out. And
he's
it's like,
definitely going to.
he's a fucking liar,
By the
bud. You're a
time by
liar.
the time he eats a couple of them leg kicks from
Yeah.
Pereira, he's gonna be shooting.
If
I
you're
don't care what he
wrestling
says.
Jan and you're taking Jan down because those leg kicks are bothering you, you're 100% going to shoot on Alex. Alex is going to tear your ass up with those leg kicks.
Which in that Jan fight did at least show he has 5-round cardio.
Oh,
he
yeah.
did obviously slow down later,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like he at least finished
He was
out. He
there.
finished
Right.
strong. I mean, and was still getting takedowns on Jan. Jan's not super easy to take down.
No,
especially with no legs.
Yeah.
So
Pulling his
I mean,
power.
definitely excited to see the outcome of this fight because I'm hoping we get the Ankalaev Pereira fight
Big, definitely,
after this.
definitely big implications.
Yeah, and in the 12th fight of the night, we got Lerone Murphy, 6-0 in the UFC, 14-0 overall, going against Dan 50K Ige.
50K.
Saved the card against
Yep.
what card was that? He
I think
fought
it was
Diego
300,
Lopez.
wasn't it?
What? No, it wasn't 300.
No,
It was actually more
303.
recent.
It was 303.
Yeah. Saved that co-main event, man. That was legendary.
That
bro.
was
That
especially
was legendary.
taking it against somebody as dangerous
In
as Diego Lopez.
Hours notice,
6 hours,
which is crazy. Never been finished. Super durable guy in Danny Gay. I mean, well-rounded.
Yep.
He's got power in his hand.
Experience.
Solid cardio. Good experience. I mean, has really fought the who's who as far as this weight class, but he's lost to the higher level competition.
Yes.
I mean, he's fought them, but he hasn't really been successful against the higher level guys.
Right.
But has shown to be tough in all those fights, not getting finished, just taking them to decisions. Lerone Murphy on the other side, I feel like is going to be the better technical striker. If they sit at range and Danny Ego don't implement no type of like pressure or wants get some grappling going in this fight, I see him just kind of getting picked apart at range from Lerone Murphy. But Lerone can also mix it up as well.
Right.
So he could potentially just mix it up, get some grappling going himself against Ige. Ige can get put on his back and gets comfortable there.
Most of his losses are to grapplers.
He is a black belt in BJJ, so he sometimes just will lay on his back and try to
be in his guard.
Try to find submissions, play that guard game.
Yeah.
Lerone has fought some decent UFC competition himself and has been victorious. So as far as the line, minus 215 on Lerone. I would like it to be a little bit closer, but it's probably justified. I mean, like I said, he's going to be the better striker if it stays on the feet, and I don't think he's completely outclassed if it does go to some grappling. So he should be able to hold his own anywhere this fight goes. So I'm gonna go Lerone Murphy. But I say he wins the decision. I definitely don't see him finishing Danny Ige. What you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree because Lerone, he is going to be the I'm going to say more like busy striker in this. He's going to be throwing, more of the jabs, more of the little check hooks, more of putting volume out there. But Dan is going to have the more power. 50K's got some power to him, and but Lerone is a striker who he started training as a boxer as a kid when he was real young, but at the age of 13 started training full-time MMA, just everything, all aspects, and is been fighting since. He has good power, fast hands. Fought his biggest fight to date, his last time out against Edson Barbosa in a 5-round main event. Went all 5. He did get rocked in that fight. Edson had him a couple times in danger, and Lerone managed to, grab on or, did what he needed to do in the moment to regain his composure and get his wits about him. Like Pat said, Dan Ige, his fight pretty much the who's who. 10-7 in the UFC. He's the definition of a dog. I mean, like Pat said, he took that fight against Diego Lopez on 6 hours notice. Saw or heard through the grapevine that somebody couldn't make it or that Brian Ortega was pulling out. Called Hunter Campbell, said, I want that fight. Give me that fight. Took it. Insane. He's a dog for that. He's also a striker with really good, clean boxing. He has fast hands, big power. He's fought everyone from Edson Barbosa and Calvin Kattar to Mozar Evloev and Diego Lopez. He is durable. He's a durable guy. This fight, I feel like, is going to be a chess match between strikers. Whereas Lerone, I'm pretty sure, does have the reach advantage, right? He's got, I think, where are we at? He's got a 2.5-inch reach advantage, and he's going to be, or yeah, Lerone has a 2.5-inch reach advantage. Lerone's going to be 2 inches taller, so it's not going to be easy for Dan to get in there. He's going to have to make it gritty. If it's a clean technical point fight, it's going to be Lerone Murphy all day. But if it's a gritty in the pocket against the fence, kind of just doing whatever, a dog fight, it's going to be Dan Ige. My pick might as well give us another split decision on the board because I'm gonna go with Dan Ige here. Before I even looked at the line, I liked Dan, and then I checked the line and noticed that right now, Dan's a plus 165 underdog. It's like fuck, if you're giving me somebody that tough, as an underdog in a fight that I feel like can be close and I can see going, either way, give me Dan Ige. More than likely by decision.
He definitely has all the qualities of a dog
Yeah,
that you would want.
for sure. He's got all that heart. And that's, for me, when I like to pick underdogs, the number one quality I want to know is he a dog? Like, if he's hurt, is he going to give up? Is he going to show up? Or is he going to fight for your money? And Danny Gay, he's going to fight for it.
Big fact.
So, the next fight, we got the co-main event of the evening. Finally, hopefully. We still got a week to go, but hopefully, as of right now, we still have this. We have Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. Robert Whitaker, everybody knows him. 17-5, former middleweight champ. He's fought everyone from Wonder Boy at 170 to Izzy, at 185. He's the ultimate test for anyone at middleweight. He's only lost to champs at middleweight, with his only losses coming to Izzy and Dricus. Big power, good kicks, good clean combinations, good movement. We just saw him his last time out go out there and fight Ikram Aliskerov, which granted wasn't short notice. Ikram jumped in there for Khamzat, but completely just dog walked him in that first round. Caught him with that, what was it, a hook that he caught him with? Threw his equilibrium off.
It was like a head kick, then a hook, wasn't
What?
it?
No, I think he threw that head kick and missed at the end, like the little finishing sequence. I think it was a hook that he caught him with, that right on the ear, and it threw him off. And then right there at the end of the fence, like towards the end of the fight, he threw that head kick, it missed, and then he caught him with that uppercut against the fence and just put him out. But Rob showed he ain't no scrub, right? He's still Bobby Knuckles. He's going against Khamzat, who is 7-0 in the UFC. Everybody knows who Khamzat is. He's that dominant, crazy, just pressure style, relentless wrestler. We know his game plan, and everybody knows what his game plan is going to be, and yet nobody can stop it. It's going to be come out, go crazy, smash. That's it. He's shown that he can knock you out, he can take you down and maul you, or if he can't finish you, he can go a hard 3 rounds. Granted, that third round he's going to be struggling, but he can hang in the fight. His cardio isn't great. He slowed down in both the Gilbert and the Usman fight, the Gilbert Burns fight. Usman was on short notice, and that is a former champ. I don't care what anybody says about, he's used to be a welterweight champ, though. Usman is massive. That is a massive guy, even for 170. He cut a lot of weight to make 170. So Usman at 185, he's still going to be a big guy. He's not an easy test. He was a champ. He was somebody that had only had 2 or 3 losses, so it's not a scrub that he fought and he, still kept it close, won that fight, had that 10-8 first round.
I thought he lost that fight.
I thought Khamzat won.
I thought draw at worst.
Yeah, I thought he had a 10-8 in the first, and I thought he did enough in that third to win that.
Third was close.
He was it wasn't a clear win in the third, but
for sure.
But yeah, so everyone who knows me knows I've been a big Khamzat fan since literally his debut in the UFC. His inactivity does kill me. He doesn't fight a lot, whether being sick or the fucking visa issues or whatever it is. We don't see him a lot, but when we do, it is crazy. I mean, the fact that he ran through Kevin Holland in like 40 seconds was nutty, because Kevin Holland is not no scrub either. Like, he knows how to scramble and wrestle too. I think Khamzat, even though Rob does have good takedown defense, I feel like Khamzat at some point is going to be able to get to his back. And I feel like if he gets to his back, it's only a matter of seconds before he locks in a choke or something. It's not going to be easy. I don't think he's just going to run through him. I don't think it's going to be, what the fuck ever, but Give me Khamzat. More than likely, I'm gonna say by sub, but it wouldn't surprise me if he has to have another war like he did with Gilbert Burns, or like an Usman type thing where he wins a tough decision. What do you think?
You think Khamzat going 5 rounds with Bobby
Oh,
Knuckles?
we're 5 on this.
This a
oh,
5-round fight.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna say he's either gonna get that sub or it's game over for Khamzat.
Right. That's pretty much.
I was thinking we're at 3 still.
Nah, that's how I see this fight going, man. I think either
Bobby lasts.
Khamzat gets him out of there early because he is probably the most dangerous UFC fighter in the first round.
Right.
Period.
He's insane in the first.
Like, I mean,
even in the second, it's not as like intense as the first, but in the second, he's still pretty dangerous.
He is dangerous, but you can see it in his face that he starts to
he starts questioning damn, what's going on here?
And like it's like he loses like that kill, that smash mentality. He kind of plays it more conservative and just starts.
Now he's like, all right.
Now he's like, all right, let me just strike.
Yeah.
And who's gonna be the better striker, him or Whitaker?
Hey,
range.
They translated. I didn't mean to go off subject, but they were translating the Gilbert Burns fight of his corner screaming bloody murder for him to take a takedown or just shoot a takedown, and he refused. He wanted to strike with him for whatever reason
because he knows
he can't do that shit with Whitaker.
What gets me here is like Whitaker's never been sub, which obviously he's never faced somebody as dangerous in that department. But I mean, DDP was taking Whitaker down in that fight, wasn't he?
He took him down with like a minute left, and then was just kind of ground and pounding him. He wasn't really looking for a sub. He wanted to beat his ass.
So I really see this fight just it either goes. I think it's either Khamzat in the first, or Whitaker takes over later. That
it being a 5-round definitely changes my opinion on Khamzat grinding out a decision, because I don't see Khamzat.
I don't think he even lasts 5 rounds.
I don't think it's going 5
at all. And we know Bobby can.
Yeah, Bobby can get a finish too. That's what I'm saying. If it does go into, if we see 4th round and it's Whitaker against a Khamzat who's never been in a 4th round in his life, it's like Whitaker's going to take over, and we could see a Whitaker finish, like a Whitaker TKO.
I'm interested to see what them like Whitaker 3, 4, and 5 round props are going to be.
Probably insane.
Probably big
plus
numbers.
800, 900.
Obviously, Khamzat in the first round is going to be like fucking probably favorited.
Yeah, minus 150. So.
This a hard one to call, man. Honestly, I want to stick my neck out and go Whitaker.
Yeah.
But Khamzat in that first round, man, like I don't think Whitaker is Usman as far as like being able to just
fight off
that wrestling and stay as safe.
Is literally Division I championship caliber wrestling.
Exactly, and he still got dominated early by Olympic wrestling.
And all that.
Had his back taken literally 4 minutes and 55 seconds of that first round.
Whitaker does. He trains with Craig Jones, so we'll give him that. Like, he does have a good grappling partner, but it doesn't matter how much you train with somebody like that. You're not Craig Jones, so he's not going to have the takedown defense that Craig Jones would have against a Khamzat or something.
Yeah, I'll pick Khamzat, man, but I would just tread lightly in this fight as far as betting it. I'm probably not. What's the line on this fight? It's price.
On Tapology, it says that Khamzat's a minus 225 to a plus 185 for Rob.
Let's just say this: if Khamzat comes out in that first, and when Khamzat comes out in that first and demolishes Whitaker, if we make it to the second, I'm gonna be looking at a Whitaker live bet.
It's gonna be that live bet.
Because I think as soon as that second round comes, that momentum gonna switch.
Yeah, and honestly, it probably wouldn't even be a bad idea if that's your mentality of if this gets past the first, then I'm playing Rob. Wouldn't be a bad idea the minute Khamzat gets that takedown and starts like smashing to play a live Rob bet.
Yeah, because it's going to jump.
It'll jump to like plus 400, plus 500. You'll get crazy. And then if he survives that first onslaught, then you'll see that line start coming back down.
And I just feel like that's a lot smarter than playing like plus 200 pre-fight.
Yeah. The live bet's definitely the play.
Because he's definitely, 9 out of 10 times he's gonna lose that first round. Yeah. I don't think anybody's won a first round against Khamzat.
No, I don't think so either.
But my pick's gonna be Khamzat. But I think it just goes either one or two ways. Either kills him early or gets killed late. Yeah. But main event, man. If y'all haven't, please go leave a like, leave a comment, hit the sub button for us, man. This is a great main event.
Hey, it's been a great card period, but this main event,
super stacked card.
It's got everybody split.
Yeah, this probably gonna have us split too.
Yeah, maybe.
you got Ilia Topuria. I mean, just super dominant pretty much everywhere the fight goes. I
Very
mean, he's got
well-rounded.
good wrestling, well-rounded. He's really good grappler, stupid good in the pocket with his boxing.
Very dangerous.
Max Holloway on the other hand, I mean, we got a vet in Max Holloway. You know, probably one of the best ever in this division.
Yeah, he's got to be in that top 3 of featherweight GOAT conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
even top 2.
Former champ. We got his boxing second to none, I think. I mean, super good boxing. It's hard I can't really compare to Max Holloway we just seen at lightweight
Right.
to
I'm so glad you said that.
To this Max Holloway, because I mean,
he's got to cut weight.
He's got to cut a lot
of
more weight.
people are not thinking about the fact that the hydrated 155 max that knocked out Justin Gaethje, it's not the same max that you get at 145 after that weight cut. I don't give a fuck what you say.
No, that is facts.
Yeah.
But I kind of see this fight going to it's kind of binary to me. It's like I feel like Max can stay at range and pick him like we seen in that Ilia Topuria Volk fight in the first round. Ilia was having trouble with Volk's movement, his side-to-side movement, his leg kicks, his jab.
Volk was fucking him up.
Volk won that first round unanimously, and got caught on the fence, lacking in that second. And that's what you cannot do against Ilia Topuria, is get caught along the fence. We do see Max Holloway kind of hang out around that fence and get caught on that fence.
He
sometimes.
likes to roll with punches.
He likes to roll, which this is not a person you can do that against.
No,
I mean, he's just super, super powerful for this division. If Max can stay at range, stay off the cage, and avoid the grappling.
Let me hear it.
He can win this motherfucking fight.
Max can win it.
He can win this fight, man. And what's crazy is I'm not saying it happens, but what did I call I think months ago?
What's that?
Topuria beating Volk and then Max Holloway beating Topuria, getting his belt back from Topuria.
Just we were talking about it.
The stylistic differences in the Volk fight and this fight.
Right.
You know, I'm picking Max to win.
Yeah.
I know I'm going out on a ledge
here. You would.
I'm gonna take the dog money on Max. Man.
I mean, it's good. Like, you can't max at plus 200, especially after what he just looked like against Gaethje. Like, you can't turn that down. Or you can turn it down, but it's like it's definitely appealing.
Obviously, a lot of juice still coming on Topuria. I think he opened like minus 180. He's sitting like minus 250 now.
Right.
So I mean, you'll get a better number on Holloway come fight time.
Probably.
It's scary. I mean, I'm not
feeling great about it.
In the fact that Topuria could catch Max Holloway, but
very dangerous.
Max Holloway never been knocked out.
Right.
In his
chin,
career.
That chin
super
is
good chin.
Hall of Fame alone.
Hard to take down.
Yeah.
And I know Topuria just knocked out Volk.
Right.
And Volk is 3-0 against Max Holloway.
Right.
You can't do MMA math like
that.
And that was also a Volk coming off of
being knocked out
by
right.
Islam.
Right.
So yeah, man. I think if Max Holloway can stay at range and just and piece Topuria up, and not do this and point to the center of the cage.
He can't do that.
And try to pocket box.
Can't do that
with Topuria. I think he can get this win, man. I know it's hard to bet against Topuria because he is super well rounded and super dangerous. But I'm going to pick Max Holloway in this fight and take a chance on him. What you think?
Right. Well, we might as well end the card on a split decision.
I knew it.
With everything that Pat says, I do not disagree with any of it. Right. Max, we all know him. He is a dog. That chin, Hall of Fame on its own. Max Holloway could miss the Hall of Fame. That chin cannot. That chin is there. He's been rocked and tested by the best of the best. Dustin Poirier up at 155. Conor McGregor early on in his career. I mean, Jose Aldo, you name it. Max has fought them, outlasted them, and shown the levels to the experience, right? Except Volk. Volk's the only one that seemed to have his number for whatever reason. I'll tell you for what reason. And it's going to be the same reason that Ilia fucks him up and dog walks him. And I know that's with everything I said, Max is durable, Max is this, his chin is that. He hasn't fought Ilia yet, okay? And let me tell you, for the beatdown that he got in that third Volk fight, where his eye was swelled shut, his nose swollen, he just looked like he got ran over by a car. Ilia is going to do the same shit. And I don't think it's going to be easy for him. I'm not sitting here saying that Ilia is just going to walk through and like make Max look like he doesn't belong in the UFC. But what I am saying is stylistically, I feel like Ilia is everything that Volk was in that third match, but better. I feel like he has faster hands. His boxing, insane. Big power in his hands. We've seen it. He starched Volk with a shot that really didn't even catch him super clean. It caught him with like half the fist. It was like his pinky and his ring finger knuckles.
I don't. His movement not like Volk though.
No.
He gonna walk.
Volk does have better movement, and he's constantly switching stance. I will give
and throws more kicks.
Ilia is more that boxer kind of stance. He's more
down,
heavy,
pressure.
Yeah. He definitely doesn't move as good as Volk, but when it comes down to it, his wrestling, even I feel like his wrestling, he has way better wrestling than Volk did. I feel like he is going to be able at some point to get Max down. I feel like he's going to try to mix it up in his game plan well to keep Max guessing. I feel like on the ground, Max is going to be lost because Ilia's wrestling and his grappling is very good. His jiu-jitsu, underrated because we don't ever have to see it really. We don't ever, in the UFC, he's just been knocking fools out. Their reach is actually the same at 69 inches, which surprises me because Max is
4
inches taller. So, but Max has those little T-Rex arms, I guess, just going crazy. But yeah, give me Ilia. I feel like he might even be the first person to knock Max out. Like
that'd be crazy.
That's wild, but I feel like
if you knock out Volk, then come out and knock out Max Holloway,
that might just put you as the GOAT instantly of featherweight. But I feel like if anybody's going to crack Max's chin, it's going to be Ilia with that big power. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Ilia get a sub to somehow get underneath I know Max doesn't have a big chin, it's little, but I feel like he could get underneath it and get a choke if they're on the ground scrambling.
Max is hard to take down though.
It's not going to be easy.
Good takedown defense.
But I feel like this is going to show us just how good Ilia is.
It's either going to show us just how good Topuria is.
Yeah.
Or we're gonna see that he is just a human,
right? That he's just like kind of when Islam fought Dustin or Volk the first time. We saw like he's not this unmovable force that everybody thinks he is. But yeah, give me Ilia to end this card with. I just think he's a dog. I really like it. The BMF belt isn't up for grabs though. Like if Ilia wins, he don't get it. It's
right.
Understandable, but it's still
because Holloway won the BMF belt at lightweight.
Yeah. And plus, I'm glad too because it doesn't tie it to featherweight and whoever the featherweight champ is.
Exactly.
I'm glad for that.
Because I feel like the BMF belt should definitely stay in lightweight.
It needs to be its own fight, regardless. I feel like even if there is a belt, they need to have if it's for the belt, have the BMF fight.
Yeah.
So, but that's the card. UFC 308 stacked, and we get it early.
Exciting.
This card starts early in the day, so
10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 a.m. is the early prelims.
So I think
wake up. 2 p.m. is the main card. I think or noon.
Wake up, make some bagels, make some eggs.
Get ready to watch people get ready to watch some damn fights.
But yeah, man, we appreciate y'all stepping in. We know it's been a while.
Yep.
We've been off. We're gonna try to keep it consistent for y'all. I think we got a couple fight nights coming up, and then we got another pay-per-view.
Yep.
309. I think that's John Jones, ain't it?
It is. That's the John Jones.
Yeah, that's John Jones, and then Chandler and Oliveira rematch. Yep. So that should be a solid card.
Big card there.
Yeah, man. All in all, we appreciate y'all stepping in and watching I think episode 14 now.
Something like that.
Of the Split Decisions podcast. I'm Patrick.
And I'm Justin.
And yeah, man, y'all enjoy the fights.
See y'all next time.